All right, here we go. Ron's Smut Corner, Chapter 1. There's something magical about driving through a small town the morning before a massive snowstorm. The air feels different, heavy, charged. If you're a Minnesotan, you know. I'm sure it's the same as the people that live in hurricane-riddled areas. People are usually friendlier, combined with warm, foggy air filling your socks. These are all telltale signs that we're in for a real whopper. This was one of those mornings. The fog was so dense I could only see the glow of the taillights from the Camry, which couldn't be more than 20 yards in front of me. The fog reminded me of that really bad movie from the early 2000s that I always forget the name of. You know the one, where the fog rolls off the bay right through the cemetery into the town. The fog is full of ghosts, demons, and old fishermen with hooks for hands. It has the dude from Smallville in it. Pretty sure that movie killed his career. What's it called? The Fog. Real creative name there, John Carpenter. I slowly drove through my small town, watching people in a hurry trying to get all their errands done before Snowmageddon arrives. And they become stuck inside with their loved ones for the foreseeable future. It's like Christmas Eve and the line is out the door at Tiffany's full of men getting the last minute. Thanks for subbing to Ron's Bent Juan. Your support means I don't have to get late night hand jobs from lot lizards named Steve. Thank you for the sub, Terry. But instead of heading to hurry trying to find their errands, where was I? For the foreseeable future. It's like Christmas Eve and the line is out the door at Tiffany's full of men getting that last minute, see, honey, I told you I'm a good guy. So let's rip the tinsel off the tree and bang on top of your grandmother's ornament collection gift, just in hopes of getting a little nookie right before Christmas. On this particular day, I was one of those people, but instead of heading to Tiffany's in search of an arch pendant full of cubic zirconium, I was in search of a golden arch named McDonald. I just got back from a long stint with friends and family. There was no food in the house. And if there's no food in the house, I become hulkish and start ripping out cupboards in search of nourishment. My ex-girlfriend hated when we ran out of food. The conversation never ended well. Honey, where's a jar of natural Jif peanut butter? I don't know, dear. I thought we had been out for weeks. Well, shit. How else am I supposed to get Betty to lick peanut butter off me? You sure as hell won't. Yeah, that's because I'm allergic, you dick. The memories of past loves can make you take a second and think about all the... Oh, shit. Through the fog, there it was, the glow of a yellow arch. I said while forgetting about everything I was thinking about. Now all that filled my head was, what should I get to eat? Do I get the usual number 2 sausage burritos with a hash brown and a large Dr. Pepper? Or do I switch it up and get McMuffin or even a McGriddle if I'm feeling real naughty? I pulled into the drive-thru, lowered my window, and was greeted by a scratchy yet sensual voice that filled my ear like a botfly looking to nest in my brain. Hi, will you be using the mobile app? The voice asked. Blank, empty air filled the space between my ears, and I responded with, good morning. No, thank you. I mean, no. I will not be using the mobile app. The static of a left-on microphone filled the conversation for a moment in time until the scratchy voice asked, okay, what can I get for you this morning? Sorry, I got a little distracted by the bright lights and the images of food that looked like they belong on the cover of Vogue magazine. Put a little bronzer on those McMuffins and I might make my own version of special Big Mac sauce, if you know what I'm saying. By chance, do you know who takes these photographs? A static pause filled the conversation this time. It lasted about 20 seconds until the voice came back and said, with a stern tone, no. Now, what would you like to order? Okay. I was just trying to make a little conversation, but moving on. May I please have 2 sausage burritos with hot sauce and a large Dr. Pepper? Would you like the meal? The voice asked. No, I don't like the hash browns. I swear they just don't taste the same as they used to. Sir, I didn't ask for your opinion. I just wondered if you wanted a meal, the voice said. No, thank you. But how about we add one of those syrup-soaked goddesses called McGriddles onto the order? Got, got to get the nutrients before the big storm. A snarky ha. Anything else, sir? Filled the speaker. Nope, that'll be it. 1187, please pull forward. I released the brake pedal and glided around the drive-thru's menu, drooling with excitement. When I got to the window to pay, I said, "Good morning again. It's nice to put a face to the scratchy voice. You know, gorgeous, you remind me of Roz from Monsters, Inc." The lovely drive-thru cashier looked at me in disgust while swiping my card and said, "The hell is that supposed to mean?" I got instantly pale and nervous while snatching my card from her furious hands. Um, it means you have a stern yet heartwarming quality about you. Kind of like the whips my dominatrix uses on me when I visit them on the weekends. She looked at me like a toddler trying to read Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, confused and wondering what the hell a Gimli is. I smiled back at her and said, "Thank you. Have a great rest of your day." I pulled up to the next window where I was greeted with a bag of food, a large Dr. Pepper, and a silent frown. I grabbed the food and smiled while saying, "Thank you very much. Enjoy the day." I pulled away from the McDonald's looking in my rearview mirror when I saw two people hanging out the drive-thru windows staring at my car as I drove away. Huh! They must be mesmerized by my charm, I said to myself while winking in the mirror. I drove about a block down the road and found a parking spot in the local gym's parking lot to indulge in my breakfast. I opened the bag slowly, savoring every moment. I reached inside that carnivorous bag. I said that word wrong. Fuck. Grabbed a circular object and packet of hot sauce. I peeled off the sticker like a bra strap. A little bit of a struggle and not knowing exactly what I was doing. I then slowly unfolded the paper when I was greeted by the most perfectly plump burrito my eyes have ever laid eyes on. My eyes have ever laid on. I stared into its eyes as I slowly raised that warm, perfectly shaped burrito towards my mouth. I opened my mouth wider than Nick Birch at the lunch table. I began to wrap my chapped lips around the outside of the burrito like I was back at camp, want to stick it in me, and chomp down harder than a T-Rex who just escaped the confines of Jurassic Park and saw the trainer who electrocuted him at a young age. Butterflies filled my stomach like I was back in grade school and saw Mrs. Shaved Vagina bend over for the first time. I was in heaven. I went in for another bite and it was better than the first. I swallowed that burrito whole in a matter of seconds. When I opened my eyes and looked up from my trance, I was met with four eyeballs staring right back at me. Two burly gentlemen who looked like they just got done spotting each other in the gym were pointing and laughing at me as I finished the last few bites of my burrito. I smiled and waved, but they kept laughing. That's when I noticed I had a new accessory to my Levi jeans. A tent seemed to have formed right near my zipper. I pressed the tent down with my moist right hand in shame and sped off faster than Dominic Toretto in a 10-second car. I drove down the road embarrassed at my infatuation with this little McDonald's burrito. Maybe it was because it reminded me. Oh, maybe it took me back to a simpler time that I remember so fondly. The late nights I spent with Emma Acorn Nipples at Camp Wanna Stick It In Me, exploring our bodies for the first time. But there was something about that burrito that aroused me beyond repair. Ashamed at what just transpired, I found a local park and finished my meal in silence. That's when I heard a loud knock on my window. It was a police officer, but not just any police officer. The police officer's name read Acorn Nipples. I looked up and said, "Emma, is that you?" She responded, "Ron." We both gazed into each other's eyes for a few seconds. That wasn't until Emma broke the silence with, "Man, I haven't seen you in ages." Honestly, I thought you were some weirdo coming to this park to watch kids play on the playground. My face got beet red and I said, no, dear God, no. I'm just enjoying a little breakfast before the massive storm. Emma laughed and said, good, good. So how are things? I haven't seen you since Camp Wanna Stick It In Me. I've been good, real good. How about yourself? I asked while shielding my zipper tent. I'm good. Cop life can be crazy, but you know, it's the life I chose. Emma's eyes glanced inside the car and said, what do you got down there? Emma asked, essentially. I looked to my right and saw the bag of McDonald's and said, oh, nothing, just a burrito and a McGriddle from McDonald's. Emma looked down at my hands, shielding the tent, and said, no, not that. That. I slowly lifted my hands to reveal the pitch tent. A smile swept over Emma, a smile I haven't seen since Camp Wanna Stick It In Me. Her eyes remained fixated on my tent, and she said, is that my little friend? I began to blush and said, you mean massive friend, right? She giggled. It was so nice to hear her giggle again. I looked at her Doberman brown eyes and asked, you want to help me finish off this burrito? Emma looked around, checking for other people. When the coast was clear, she said, do I ever? She climbed in the passenger door, and we started to lady and tramp the shit out of that second burrito. She ripped open my hot sauce packet and poured it all over my burrito. She took her coarse tongue that reminded me of my cousin's cat, Betsy, and licked that hot sauce clean off my burrito. The windows began to fog up faster than the ghost fisherman coming to shore. Holy shit. She, gra- she grabbed the McGriddle out of my sweaty palms and peeled back each component, slowly stuffing my face full of sausage, egg, and cheese. I began to chew vigorously, and once the food was all chewed up, I baby birded that McGriddle right back into her mouth. Once all the food left my mouth, she started to swallow and I said, sharing is caring. She then returned the favor, sending chewed up McGriddle my way. It was the most passionate I have ever felt. Right when the passion reached its peak, I heard her radio go off. We have a 187 in progress. Emma let out the loudest, oh shit, I gotta go. She flew the door open and ran to her cop car. The passion had died. She flipped on that siren and I thought she was gone forever. It was at that exact moment when I heard gentle footsteps running up to my car. She she flipped me her business card and said, call me. I want to pick up right where we left off. I looked up at her and smiled like a teenager finding out their crush likes him for the very first time and said quietly, I'll save the McGriddle. Emma giggled as she gave me a peck on the cheek and sped off to take care of her 187 in progress. As for me, I wrapped up the rest of McGriddle, went home, and awaited the snowstorm. Oh my God.